So, not every spiritual belief you carry is still true for who you are now. Let's handle this, okay? The first thing that I'm getting about why it's time to update your spiritual beliefs is because maybe the systems and groups and communities that you've been in the past didn't properly teach you the evolution of natural growth. Okay? So, for instance, oh man, I wasn't going to go here, but I'm going to go here. Like churches. I have seen a lot of churches where they have people in that church for like 30, 40 years, right? That's loyalty. But in my mind, like I've had these conversations with spiritual leaders of churches before, right? So I'm not just saying something I haven't expressed my truth to. Like, oh, really wanted to know what they thought about it, right? And my thought about it is a church is supposed to be where you come for healing. So do you go to a hospital and stay at a hospital for 30, 40 years? Do you? If you're at the same place doing the same thing for that long with no real growth, is it doing the job? That's the question, right? And are you really evolving? Have you outgrown that system? And is it time to move into something that will feed this version of you so you can grow into the next version? It's like keeping a snake or an animal in a confined small space. It doesn't have any room to grow, right? It needs to be put in a new environment. Like, oh, let's use a plant because I don't like confining animals, okay? So let's use a potted plant. That plant, if you want to see that plant get bigger, it needs to leave that pot. It needs to leave that environment and it needs to go into something new, okay? And that's the same thing that I'm feeling about spiritual beliefs and evolving into what's true for you now. The same way that we do checks with our businesses, right? As we should do checks to see, is it evolving? Is it growing? What's working? What's not working? And this doesn't mean you're chasing trends, right? But it's seeing, how am I in alignment with what God's telling me to do? And is there any way to improve while staying true to the authenticity of who I am as a righteous being of God, right? That's how we godlings work, okay? We don't chase trends. We chase the next version of God within ourselves. That's it, okay? And so we need to see, is this still working? Am I still with a team? Am I still with viable partners that are seeing eye to eye and we can still walk together and alone at the same time, like that beach concept that I mentioned the other day, right? Where walking alone doesn't mean you don't have help or you're not walking in a team. It just means you have a sense of independence, right? That you have a sense of individuality. So, and this is important because if corruption happens and everybody's in the same corrupt pot with the same corrupt thinking and the same corrupt actions, who's going to be the one to be the righteous judgment, to be the righteous justice, to be the righteous consciousness to say, hey, something's off? That's walking alone, right? So I can see, okay, we're all together, but is this still true for what God is saying within? That's how you walk alone and together at the same time, okay? And so that's what I'm really getting about doing checks with your spiritual beliefs in the environments that are nurturing those things the same way we do with our businesses, okay? And I'm going to pull some cards and then I have another example I want to give you. And this is definitely for all my I'm going to get another one because that one wasn't clear. This is for all of my real deeply spiritual people who use all kinds of spiritual tools and have different spiritual practices. Oh, this same card came out, so I guess this is the right one. Such a great deck. So in tune. Okay. Literally the exact same card came out. What kind of thoughts do you have when you're at peace? What kind of thoughts do you have when you're at peace? Okay? This is how you know if you're in tune and in alignment, right? Because your spiritual beliefs should not cause you to be paranoid. Your spiritual beliefs shouldn't have you on edge and not being able to sleep at night. And oftentimes that happens from a lot of pressure or taking on way more than what belongs to you, or what more responsibilities than what you're responsible for, right? And we often do that in spiritual beliefs. Kind of like, especially when we're in spiritual gangs, it's a real thing, okay? It's like, if one person's going after something, everybody feel like they got to go after that target. But not everybody is called for the same targets. And this is when you have to learn how to walk alone, even when you're in a group, because that target might not be in alignment with your mission. Not everybody is called to improve, we'll say that, the same things. Because not everybody has the same experiences in all the same areas. So someone might be trying to go tackle a topic that they have no true power in, because they have no experience to convict their knowledge on the topic. So they'll go out talking, they'll go out slinging spiritual tools, and all that stuff comes right back at them because it's out of alignment. And these are the type of things you've got to do to update your spiritual beliefs as well. Is, do I need to update my belief that just because my spiritual bestie believes that this is what we should do, that I should do it too, even though my heart says this isn't true for my path? Update is necessary. Okay? So now I want to go into really what I was really sensing on this topic, and that has to do with like spiritual tools when it comes to sage, incense, tuning forks. You know, there's a list, right? There's a whole list. I'm not saying any of these things are wrong, because you can look back at my history and see I know what I'm doing, right? However, during one of my recent transitions, what I learned is God needed me, and this is true for many transitions that I've had where I had to put them down. And I've had a video where I talked about spiritual addictions, right? Where if I cannot clear out negative energy without a tool, I'm not being God fully. And sometimes you have to have training wheels. Hear me clearly, okay? Sometimes you have to have training wheels to teach you to know the frequency of the clearing, to know the frequency of when negative spirits and energies have entered the room, have entered a body, have entered the mind, right? You need to be aware of these things. And if you have not been trained or had any experience, there are all kinds of spiritual tools that can help you know and detect where these things are at. But the ultimate goal is to not need to use them. When you are in your highest value of God, you become the sage. You become the Palo Santo. You become the tuning fork. right? Your vessel is everything you need. That takes practice. So, and this is important because when in serious situations that could be detrimental, what are you going to do if you don't have Palo Santo? What are you going to do if you don't have incense? What are you going to do if you don't have the sage? What are you going to do if you don't have the stones? Does that mean you have no protection? What are you going to do if you don't have water around you? There's water within you. This is next level. Okay? It's really next level. Where you learn how to use the elements within you to be everything that you need. Even if it means sometimes you just sing. When you're really tapped in and tuned in, you know it's more than just a song. It's to tune everything that seems to have been wrong back into the frequency of the gong of God. Training wheels. I am confident in my personal power and abilities. Perfect timing. God aligning. So I'm not saying don't use the cards, because even these cards that I'm using is a training wheel for me in a different dimension. So before I would use only tarot cards, only oracle cards that were deemed oracle cards, right? Now I can literally open a book. I can look at a sign. I can look at the sky. I can look at a bird. I can look at my thigh. I can look at the light. I can look at a tree and get the messages that I need, right? But these help me to focus when my mind is picking up so many messages. These are actually conversation cards that can be used in relationships, when you're trying to get to know each other in group settings. And so I thought, because we're having a conversation, that this is a viable connection to tap and tune in, right? And then from high level conversations. And these are just a deck of 8 basic affirmations that I created when I was doing creative coaching full time. And they're just affirmations for intentions. So it's very specific to what I'm doing here now, which is the new level of my vows to self and how I express God and what I do and be and see and speak. Okay? Is I want to be and I am intentional in everything, right? So instead of just grabbing a random deck, that's like novice level for me, I'll say, right? Whereas which deck should I get? Which deck should I get? No, it's now I'm choosing and I'm directing the intention, right? That's how I upgraded my spiritual belief that I was outdated for me, okay? So now I'm choosing. I'm having a conversation, so I need something that has been built in the alignment of conversations, okay? Handling truth has to do with intentions. So I'm using messages that were built for intention. This is the next level of alignment when I'm ciphering messages, right? And so this is the same thing for you. What's the next level of intention that you are integrating in how you be, how you see, how you speak the God messages that other people need, right? Where's your intentionality level at now, as opposed to the beliefs that you had? And how are you using whatever state you're in, whatever frequency you're in? I am not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying you need to be reaching for the next level. So you can't say this is where I'm going to be forever. Not if you want to activate your highest God potential. I'm telling you the truth, babe. Okay? So you can't be in a state of, some people are there. Some people, that is the frequency that they are built to maintain. And if that's you, I'm not talking to you. But there are some people who know that they are a God. And if you know that you are a God and you're training to be the highest frequency of God, I'm telling you, this is a direct message for you. You need to learn how to be everything that you see and use through tools. You need to learn how to activate that specific frequency, that specific hex number within your being on point exact. This is a practice. So that when there is negative energy, your presence naturally becomes the sage. I'm not talking about metaphorically. I'm talking about real life experiences that this is what I know what I'm talking about. Okay? You will be the sage. And then if you use the tools, kind of like having multiple methods of traveling, right? When you're abundant, you have multiple methods of traveling. You can take a boat, you can take a jet, you can walk if you want to, right? We just have a whole group of monks who just walked for 15 weeks, right? They chose that method. That's God power to be able to do that. But if they want to get in a car, they can choose to do that, but they know they have the strength and stamina to walk for 15 weeks straight. That's what I'm talking about. You have to build your stamina to be able to do and be whatever it is you need without any addiction to tools, systems, or people. That's true God power. This is just the beginning. Here are 3 journal prompts. What belief once helped me survive but now limits my expansion? Number 2, where do I confuse loyalty to the past with spiritual integrity? And number 3, what truth feels quieter but more honest than what I was taught? Let me upgrade you. Let me upgrade you. Truth. It is the truth. Yeah, truth. It is the truth. Yeah, it's in you. It is the truth. Yeah, you are the truth. Yeah, truth. That's it. Remember, we don't hide from the truth. We handle it sovereignly. Peace, y'all.